Welcome back, Frenemies, episode 48. Today's podcast is brought to you by Opus Van Umlauf. Call Opus Van Umlauf for all your flautist needs. Flute not included. Shout out to my little brother Tim, who's been killing it in fantasy, and he's a legit listener, like a real listener to us. And
not a fake one, a real one.
Not a real one. Yeah, not a fake one, a real one. He takes our advice on the podcast. And also another shout out to Michael Thomason and Louis Soretis, two students at my school that always ask me fantasy questions, always asking for the next podcast. Thank you for being so loyal. I'm the man, not in the middle, Chris, and this over here, Sean the commish. It's just the two of us today. But should we address the shark in the room?
Yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah, I think we should. Oh man, comes the music here. I gotta dance. Part of my punishment.
Daddy Shark.
There we go. Daddy Shark stuff.
So we've got Daddy
man.
Shark on the podcast today here. For
My
those of you who
mother
are
is so proud.
if you're not on YouTube, then you need to get over there because this is a sight to behold right now.
Yeah, halfway through this podcast, this shark mouth is going to overtake my face, and I'm just going to be constantly readjusting it. But maybe covering my face is a good thing. We might get more viewers if my beautiful face is covered.
Oh, don't say such
Oh,
things.
don't say such things. Don't say such things. Ryan's not here to compliment me right now. Anyway, so yeah, that was a little shout out or intro there. You probably were staring the whole time. I was like, what is going on? Yes, it's Halloween week.
He lost the bet. It was Geronimo Allison.
Darn you, Geronimo.
Green Bay Packer. I'm sure it stung extra.
Yeah, since I'm a Viking fan.
Yeah. And so we were just trying to come up with something. And at the costume store this morning, Baby Shark is what it became.
Oh man! Shout out to the little Halloween costume store at Pembroke Mall. So funny, the lady who was checking me out. That sounds weird, but she looked at me weird. She's like, "Are you forced or willing?" And I was like, I lost a bet. I have to wear this on a podcast. And she's like, what? I'm going to watch this. So if you're watching, thank you for selling me this. This is hilarious. She was writing down our podcast name. I told her it would be dropping on Halloween day. So
Yep.
I'm Daddy Shark for you guys. This is weird. The inside's pulling out my beard. This is very painful, both emotionally and physically. Well, let's go to the talk of the town. Let's get past this awkwardness of mine, and let's talk about some news that matters. We've got quite a few injury things, good
Yep.
and bad. Let's talk
It's
about.
so hard for me to take you serious.
I know, right? Let me keep moving this back here. Let's talk about your old boy, Kenyon Drake. Used to be
Yeah.
about this guy the last 4 or 5 years. It seems like that long. Who knows how long Drake's been in the NFL?
Yeah.
But he's been traded
Yep.
to the Arizona Cardinals. Commish, what is your take on this trade, fantasy value-wise?
So I think it's not that big of a fantasy impact. I think that more is a negative fantasy impact than a positive. I think this week would be the only week that I would think that Drake is going to get a workload that would warrant starting.
And then David Johnson goes back.
And then David Johnson, I believe, will be back within the next week, if not 2. So maybe you get 2 weeks out of him. So if you want to pick him up, I guess he was dropped in some leagues. If you want to trade for him, I would advise against most of that. He just got into town. I mean, even if he's going to play on Thursday just because
Right.
they need him to. But they have a complex playbook. I just don't see him, coming out against this San Francisco's amazing defense.
Amazing defense over.
And blowing
San
it up
Fran.
or anything. So it doesn't really mean much for Drake. To me, it's pretty similar to what it was, what you've been getting from Drake. He'll be, it looks like Chase Edmonds is going to be out for a while, so he'll be the new Chase Edmonds to kind of relieve David Johnson. And it's just going to be a mess in Arizona.
Yeah, this fantasy community is trying to blow it up bigger than it is just because that's our probably most fantasy relevant trade. A
Yeah,
lot of
that's
defensive
true.
trade, a lot of lineman trades going on the past week or two. Deadline was today, here on Tuesday. And yeah, I totally agree with you. I think he is not going to be relevant at all because he will be splitting carries. He
Yep.
will see the field, but I don't
They'll get
think he'll
Zenner in
have
there.
anything.
It's not going to be all Kenyon Drake.
Nope. But let's move on to a guy that's injured that might be coming back soon, and thank the Lord for my fantasy team. Patrick Mahomes, future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes, could be coming back as soon as week 10. He's
freaking nature, man.
Yeah, wanting to come back even against Minnesota here in week 9. For some of you guys who might have heard the reports, he is like such Gumby like
Double jointed, apparently.
double jointed. That probably explains a lot of his arm angles when he does throw the ball and how he's able to rip it with those arm slots that he throws from. Because of double jointedness, or they talk about, say, loose ligaments, he only strained one ligament in that knee when the kneecap was moved to where it wasn't supposed to be.
Yep.
So he's out there. He's walking normal, training normal, but they're just giving him more time because that's the franchise. Shout out to my church league guys. They call it RG3-itis. There you go, RG3-itis, when you try to force your future franchise QB too soon.
Yeah.
So I bet Kansas City's like, I don't want an RG3 thing. Let the guy rest.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely sit this week, and then we're just going to have to monitor what happens. They just watch practice reports, and they'll probably make it pretty clear that he's coming back, so you should know whether to start him or not.
Yeah, as fantasy owners, we're selfishly mad.
I
Who
bet.
cares about you worrying about the future? I need to win now.
It is.
I need my quarterback
Vikings,
now.
Though, so although it is Patrick Mahomes, so
It's
it doesn't matter.
Mahomes. Doesn't matter. He's freaking awesome.
All right, I'll take this next one here.
Ooh.
Ty Johnson.
How's that feel today?
This isn't really a news thing, except for the fact that no one saw this coming, that it was going to be a three-way split in this backfield.
We're talking Detroit's backfield, because Ty Johnson was so irrelevant this week, you might not know his name.
Yeah. Well, he was very relevant on Tuesday when I put in a giant waiver bid for him.
And a lot of people did.
Yeah, I spent up just because I saw, a starting running back for the rest of the season, and in our league, those are a dime a dozen. So
Oh, man.
I spent on him, and then we start watching the game and see what the heck is this Carson dude, and Ty Johnson only ended up with like 30 to 40% of the snaps. It's gross. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I would hang on to him. I'm going to hang on to him for one more week. I want to see, just to make sure they're not going to involve him more. I don't know if they were trying to see what they had in Carson. I'm very confused as to what Matt Patricia was doing.
Well, it's probably Matt Patricia doing a Belichick thing.
I guess.
He's like, I'm just going to use a ton of backs.
Yep.
I'm just going to mess with the fantasy
And if that's
world.
the case, their running game sucks. So I don't know if it's even going to be worth rostering Ty Johnson in a couple weeks here. So
Oh, Ty Johnson. You were relevant for a week.
yeah,
Then disappointed.
long lived not.
All right, so
Then we had a James Conner injury.
he was looking so good last night
Yeah.
on Monday night.
Yep.
That guy would look like his old self from last year.
Well, the Miami Dolphins will do that to you. He'll make you look really good.
Oh,
But yeah, that was a rough one for me last night.
you Dolphin fans.
Really wanted to beat the Steelers. Like, I finally actually got my hopes up a little bit.
Yeah.
But first negative play that happened, I was like, oh no, this is over. We're gonna
yeah.
find a way to. Although I gotta ask you this. So I've heard some opinions on it. Do you think that blitz was to lose the game, or
That
do you
blitz?
think he legit wanted to blitz, thinking it was a good play? Because no coach that has talked about it since has said
it's a
that
blitz.
is anything you would ever do.
In 3 deep prevent coverage, I think it was a legit blitz just because it's Mason Rudolph.
Okay.
And he wanted to pressure it faster, and he was probably guessing that they were sending 3 deep instead of one crossing over the middle. So hats off to Pittsburgh doing that drag route.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's what it was going to be. Rudolph wasn't going to throw it back deep. He was just going to see what he can get yardage-wise. And
he found a lot of yardage.
I
and
was,
a touchdown.
I was super surprised when they put the replay. I'm like, man, they sent the house and put 3 guys 30 yards deep, and they could not make a tackle on him.
Yeah. So that's one, either a sure sign of tanking, or 2, the fact that I think Brian Flores is not so great of a defensive coach. Don't do that again.
Man. And then we go with Breida. This hurts me too. His
Yeah.
ankle, had a little ankle injury.
Hold on, just real quick on the Connor thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the backup. So if we don't really know, as of the recording here, we don't know what's going on with James Conner as far as his availability next week. My guess is that he's probably going to miss 1 week. They made it sound like it's not as severe, so it may only be a 1 week thing. Either way, he's been on the injury report nonstop. He's just looking at me, and
I'm
these
sorry.
teeth are just
I'm taking
bobbing up and down.
Just letting the shark overtake me, so I just look like a talking shark right now. Anyways, yeah, as you're saying.
Yeah, so I lean the Jalen Samuel side. There's Benny Snell and Jalen Samuels are the 2 you can pick up, or if you already have them. I lean the Samuel side. He we were talking earlier. Look, he was supposed to be. He would have been able to be active in that game if they needed him, but it was the Dolphins, so they decided to hold him out that 1 more week.
Yeah,
I think he's more the backup.
And with the trade deadline passing, and I'm not getting anybody in there, I definitely agree that it's going to be Jalen Samuels, and they don't think Connor is too far out. So he'll be only out for maybe a week or two, depending on what treatment option they go with.
And then we got Burita, your man.
Yeah, Breida with his hurt ankle there. It's going to hurt his chances. I mean, he'll get his touches, but, man, I had Coleman in a lot of my leagues, but he was injured, holding him on the bench. I was like, I'll get rid of him. I'll go after Breida. And then Coleman comes around, and he's looking phenomenal.
He came around for 40-something points. Yeah,
and both of them are game plan, almost split right down the middle and taking advantage of everything.
Yeah.
But it hurts those Breida owners. He should be a running back too, or flex anyways. But that kind of hurts in a very
I think what it does is it just secures the Tevin Coleman thing.
Oh yeah,
it feels like a one-hit wonder here with this week. You don't want to over exaggerate, but I really do think Tevin Coleman's going to be a really solid RB2 for you the rest of the season. He has the upside to be RB1, as you see on a week. So,
and Breida it just hurts you because I know a lot of guys are starting him because of how depleted the running back position is this year. So that just really hurts fantasy wise.
All right, well, let's go ahead and check out our party question.
Ian, I'd like to go to a party in my pants.
No, Brick.
All right, let's go.
For that drop. All right, so our party question this week is, what is the weirdest movie you've ever seen? And it's hilarious as we wrote down our answers here on the script here. We had no idea what the movies were that the other one chose.
Yeah.
It's like, here, I gotta move this darn shark back. Oh boy, I'm gonna be wrestling with it all night. Anyway, so Sean, I want
struggle's real.
The struggle's real in the Shark Tank. All right, so Sean, The Fountain is your choice.
Yes, The Fountain.
Wow.
All right, so you've never heard of this, right?
No, you got to give me a little backstory,
Okay,
who's in this movie.
I've tried to suppress every memory of this movie because it was so weird, and I feel like I wasted like 2.5 hours of my life by watching it.
How old were you?
I was a teenager, probably 15, 16. Watched it with my dad, it has Hugh Jackman in it, which is probably why we stopped on it on TV. We were like, oh, Hugh Jackman, this looks kind of good.
Yeah.
And it was one of those movies that it just sucked you in as you were just like, what's going to happen? Like, it was so weird. And that's why I picked it as my weirdest movie, because it just kept getting weirder and weirder. And it was like that thing where you just couldn't look away. You were like, I got to know what the heck's going to happen here.
Just like me and the shark thing.
And so like the main premise of it is that his wife has cancer, she dies, and that all is like normal. Like, it's just this drama almost. And then all of a sudden he like plants his wife's ashes, and then she grows into a tree, and then he is floating in space in a bubble with this tree, and all of a sudden he's bald. And it was just the weirdest thing. They must have been high when they wrote this movie. I don't understand how anyone followed what the heck was going on in this movie. Yeah. So if you want to watch something that's just really weird and you want to see what the heck I'm talking about, The Fountain with Hugh Jackman. And it ended at the end where it was like the fountain, I'm assuming, was the fountain of youth. And he was traveling to try to get to it or something to bring his wife back. I don't know. But he ended up like being in the Garden of Eden, and then all of a sudden he starts like, I think he ate something, and then he started growing a tree out of him, and he just turned into a tree, and then that was the end of the movie. He was a tree.
That was.
And me and my dad and my brother just looked at each other and went, "What did we just watch?" Like,
who approved that script?
I don't know. I want to know if Hugh Jackman regrets this movie, or he probably thinks it's this artistic masterpiece.
But he's an artsy guy.
Yeah.
He is. He's in those.
All right, so what do you got, Chris? This movie I've never heard of.
I got The American. It was some years ago. I remember I was in the Navy, and my buddy Gino, shout out Gino. I played him in fantasy this week. Beat him 2 leagues. Beat him in 1. He beat me in the other.
Oh.
Good fantasy guy. So he and I go way back, and he's a movie dude. And I was like, "How do you watch a movie?" He told me about The American that's out. And I had George Clooney in, so I went to watch it.
That's what it is. Those A-listers draw us in.
It was in the theater, so I went to go watch it. It's an artsy fartsy movie, if anyone wants to know. So you have to like learn the deeper things. And I'm like, I was getting lost through the movie. Basically, George Clooney's an assassin that goes to Italy. I had to like bring it up here on IMDb just so I remember. And he's supposed to be in the shadows and not known, by anyone as he goes and kills somebody. But he makes friends with the priest and then goes on to have a romantic relationship with some woman. And right when I thought it was getting to the middle, where the plot was coming together and we can finally figure out what the heck's really going on here, it just ends with a car accident of this lady because they're running, trying to, because like he's been compromised, and then he's over there holding her crying, no, and then it was just done. And I was like, what did I just watch?
Yeah, I guess we had the same expression at the end of these movies.
Yeah, and I was like probably the only one in there without a fedora or a scarf out of
You
the 10
wasted your
people
money on
watching.
that movie. That's gotta
Yeah. I called up my buddy Gino. I was like, what the heck did you just make me watch? Could you explain to me what just happened here? Yeah, so that was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. So
All right, so let us know some weird movies so we can avoid them in the future. Save
please
us
do.
from that.
Please do.
All right, let's get into our fantasy Tinder.
Hey, how you doing?
You're gonna have that perfected by
Yeah.
the end of this. You'll be
How you
able to do a
doing?
perfect.
I wonder if I
impersonation.
could get away with that wearing this costume. Just walk up and say, how you doing? Like, no,
I don't know. It might work.
not
Work
as
for Joey.
Daddy Shark here.
All right, so fantasy Tinder that's our start sit segment where we swipe left or we swipe right on someone that we think is going to have a good week. We try to pick people that are outside that 15. If you're trying to decide a flex option or a bye week, these are guys you can throw in there. Or if you're debating these and we have them as a sit, then it might not be such a good idea.
Gotcha.
So go ahead and kick us off.
All right, so my swipe right, I'm starting Mark Ingram against New England. Booyah.
Whoa,
The
okay.
number one defense in
I
the
don't think I
NFL.
saw this in the doc. That's
Yes, it's the Patriots. I know. Also, Ingram is so touchdown dependent.
shout out to Joe.
I know, right to you, Joe. It's tough to depend on that against New England, but you know what? Nick Chubb, if it wasn't for his 2 fumbles, had like 20 carries for 131 yards in a sloppy rain.
Yeah.
Now that kind of moves the defenders a little easy on a run game pushing forward, but something's got to give a little bit.
In this New England defense.
Yeah, and I think the Ingram might be able to get some shots in the end zone in a short yard game.
I think Lamar Jackson helps him a lot too because that's going to be the focus of the Patriots.
Yeah, they're
is
gonna shut that down.
Yeah, they don't want him to do that. So if they have some option plays in there, I can see Mark Ingram not being the focus of those option plays on defense.
if I'm wrong, blame it on Daddy Shark here. But I looked at some rankings on and stuff, and I was like, I like Mark Ingram against New England because what I saw Nick Chubb do.
Okay,
So I think there's got to be something there.
it's a scary one. I'm not
It's
sure
a very
I'm with
scary
you on this one.
and
but-
I will not put a bet down on that. But I'm saying I'm swiping right on that, and then I'm swiping left here. I'm sitting. All right, David Montgomery versus Philly. He was my swipe right last week.
It's true. Your start.
He's
It
my
was a
swipe
good
left
start,
right now.
too.
Yeah, and
Props there.
Philly is so bad on pass defense that people don't even care about running the ball
That's true.
because they go against their second, third string DBs. But
Or is it the other way around? Is they so good on run that they just have to
no,
pass the ball?
well the flip of the coin is that they could be, and I do think they're so legit as a run stuffing defense.
Yeah.
That they're daring offenses to throw against their man coverage or their cover one because they rather gamble with that than giving you the sure yardage up front. Because you don't control the clock, you don't control drives without the run game. So I would sit David Montgomery. We're all happy about that great performance against Denver, but against Philly,
Sliding them back to the bench.
slide them back in there if you can. All right. I might be wrong again. Blame it on Daddy Shark. But I was looking at 2 bold ones. We try to pick things different. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to go against guys who people are legit going to think about. This.
Well, I got a bold one for you here. It's a gross one.
It's because you're a Dolphin.
Yeah. So I'm gonna swipe right,
Oh, boy.
not left. Swipe right on a Dolphin player, Mark Walton.
People are probably Googling this name right now.
Yeah. So Mark Walton, he kind of had already taken the starting job from Kenyon Drake, but now Kenyon Drake's out of town.
Yep.
Kalen Ballage is the only other back they really have that can take away any carries. And the thing that holds me back a little bit from saying he's going to be a great start this week was he did fumble at the end of the game. The good thing to see was he did come back in the game and get a good amount of carries after that. So I don't think that's going to hurt his status as being the starter over Kalen Ballage. The other thing is Kalen Ballage is an awful running back, just to put that out there.
They keep using him, but yeah.
He's just not good. He's athletically amazing,
Yeah.
not a good running back, and that's just not going to work. So I think that Mark Walton, he's playing the Jets this week. They just traded Leonard Williams, so that is a huge part of their run defense. And I just think this could turn into one of those like high-scoring toilet bowls where the Dolphins can, put up over close to 20 points. And, one of those touchdowns might be Mark
I
Walton.
like how you use 20 points as high scoring.
Well, for the Dolphins, I don't think we've reached 20 points yet. So, yes, that would be high
Oh,
scoring.
wow. That's actually a good thing to research. Let me look that up.
But yeah, so I just think you can start him. He's probably a guy on the waiver wire you can pick up. There's bye weeks this week. I know people need just filler running backs, and I think this is a guy that he can get you that safe 10 points. Like I think he'll get to that 10-point mark in a PPR league because he catches the ball too. And then my sit here, so I'm going to swipe left on Damian Williams. So this is kind of a warning.
Yeah.
Sit, because what happened was, if you didn't watch the game, you would think that Damian Williams stole the job. Like, okay, now he's getting more of the carries. But what happened was LaShawn McCoy fumbled the ball in a very important situation. And Andy Reid decided, you know what? I'm not taking any more chances. We're going to put Damian Williams out there. I know I can trust him. And he went out there and he ran and was okay. He wasn't amazing, but he got you, I think, 9 to 10 points, and depending on your scoring. So you may think you can slide him in there based on his carry count, but it all came after that fumble. He had 0 carries before that fumble.
Yeah.
And so I'm just afraid. Plus, they're playing Minnesota, who has a very stout run defense. So I think that if you're thinking I can put Damian Williams back in, he's won the job over from McCoy. I think they're going to turn right back to McCoy. I think McCoy's been the better running back this year. And so I wouldn't start Damian Williams. I'd try to get him to your bench for sure.
I like that. Yeah, people are going to look at that, just like you said, and think, oh, he's back.
Yeah.
But you got to read a little deeper on that.
Yep. All right, and then I'll just continue on here. We'll go to wide receiver, and my wide receiver start, so I'm going to swipe right on this wide receiver, is Danny Amendola.
Ooh, haven't heard of this name in a while.
Yeah, this is a guy you could go get off the waiver wire. It's kind of going to be a theme of this for me. It's a tough week of buys, and it's going to get even tougher as we go on here. I think week 10 we have the crazy bye week where there's like 6 teams on bye. And so I think you can pick up Danny Amendola and you can start him. He has 19 targets in the last 2 weeks. Okay, that's like wide receiver 1 targets.
Wow.
So he's not going to get you a touchdown, so I don't think he has a huge upside, but he's kind of like Mark Walton, where it's like you're going to be safe with Danny Amendola. He's not going to give you a goose egg or like a 2-point game. He'll get you to that 10-point. And if he does happen to break a play and get in the end zone, then you have a great start. The other thing is that he is playing Oakland, whose defense has been really, really bad this year against pass. Not to mention, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. Oakland's been able to put up points, so I could see this going back and forth, and Danny Amendola being very involved. Also, I'll mention what really is, I think, happened with Amendola is this, like I said, the last 2 weeks, 19 targets. The correlation there is Kerryon Johnson went down. And so I think that's kind of their run game. We talked about Ty Johnson earlier and how they don't have a run game.
No.
And so they have to find ways to keep the defense honest in those short passing game. And I think that's what they're doing, is they're trying to find a way to use the passing game to kind of supplement that terrible running game. And that's where Danny Amendola is just eating.
Totally agree.
And then my swipe left here, I don't know if you're going to agree with this one because I know you like this guy, but I'm swiping left. I don't think you can start him this week. He's a sit. Is Christian Kirk. San Francisco's defense, like we talked about earlier, has just been locked down. Like, they're legit, for real. Like, they're probably in the conversation for the top defense this year. And so on a short week, David Johnson's out. We talked about the mess they have there. He's a very high risk play this week. Like, you may get a touchdown bomb that he catches, and because they're down, they have to catch up, and he'll get you to that 10 to 15 points. But I think there's a real chance you get a stinker in there of like 2 to 3 points where they just can't move the ball.
You want to throw a bet down on that?
Oh, okay.
You want to ring the bell?
All right.
Ring the bell on that one?
All right.
Oh, man.
Before we bet on this, let's hear your side
Daddy
of it.
Shark's about to tell you, I think Christian Kirk coming back, even on a short week against San Francisco, he plays in the slot.
Okay.
So you don't get there.
He's not going to get Sherman.
You're not going to get Sherman. And what's that young guy that I really like on the left side? It's so terrible. I'm not.
Keyshawn Johnson or
No. A DB for San Francisco.
Oh, I don't know.
But
This fantasy football, I only know offensive players.
Sorry, I watched that. I just love their defense.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some openings there for a quick game, and they're going to be so far behind. I think Murray's going to be throwing a lot. And oh my goodness, Murray's been a stinker.
Yeah.
The last month.
It's not.
in
I don't think it's his
fantasy.
fault. I've watched the games and he's looked good. They just are bad.
It's like they haven't figured out the next step in their offense.
They
Like,
can't get
how do you
touchdowns.
score? How do we
Yeah.
get in the red zone consistently? But I think Christian Kirk will have a decent game.
Decent.
A decent game.
Okay.
Maybe above 10.
Above 10 points.
Above 10. Over 10.5.
I feel like this is going to bite me here.
We'll see. I rung the bell. Is
All
this
right.
a to be continued here, or are you taking it?
Yeah, I'll take a 10.
Ooh,
I'll take a
all
10
right. Over under
in half or in half.
in half. That's
just
yeah.
to split the
It's a
difference.
legit way to play fantasy football. Half point PPR.
10 points and a half.
There we go.
I feel like he's going to catch a lot of passes, but I just don't
what
think he's
I'm
going to
hoping.
explode for you.
I'm gonna still be watching that game on Thursday night. Like I'm just be counting. All right, I think I have Christian Kirk on my team. Should I start him? Just like because I have him on my bench. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, you got anything more to say about Christian Kirk there?
That's about all I have to say, bud.
We got another bet coming in, so get on the comments if you
Yeah,
want.
he
to
beat
see
me last
him.
week on the Juju. Juju was the top 15.
Yep.
We gotta-
Pile on the bets.
If you
here.
have any punishments, pull them in there. We're going to probably be doing a bet a
Actually-
week, so
Actually, the punishment, the person being punished is the guy that's not here today. So
it's true.
loser's going to be whatever we make Ryan do.
There you
All
go.
right, the winner gets to pick it. All righty, so my swipe right, I'm starting with DK Metcalf, or as Ryan would say, DJ Metcalf.
It's true.
All right, he's going against Tampa again. Pick on the poor defenses. You're looking at matchups. You're finding waiver wires. This is why we're doing it. All right, so you want to find guys with the great matchups, and DK is getting the red zone targets in the absence of Will Disley. That's me. To me, I'm calling it now. Metcalf is going to be a tight end by year 3 of his pro career. He looks like it, and they're utilizing him that way. And I think against Tampa, they're going to have a lot of red zone things. And he's just one of the few big bodies for Russell Wilson to throw to. So I would start him swiping right there. My sit, I'm swiping left on MVS. MVS over in Green Bay. I don't know if he plays half the time.
I know.
The way I said, you just bench him against anybody. All right, you're
So hard to do after that 20-something.
yeah, fall this scantily. I mean, yeah, but like, what do I look at it? His last 4 games, his targets are 4, 2, 3, 2.
Yeah,
That's without Devontae Adams there.
it's true.
And he is a wide receiver 2 in the offense with Geronimo Allison. But even Allison's not going anything because that's how I lost the bet. All right. So they're using their running backs more. So don't fall for it. Everyone keeps projecting higher and higher. You can't trust MVS.
I
Not
agree.
even in the flex right now.
I think he's not. I have him in a league, and I've just not been able to start him. He's just like you see that target count. How can you trust that?
Yeah.
You got to hope one of those is a long bomb touchdown, which it was on one week. But if you don't get that, you're going to get a real bad game.
Yeah, it's not looking good. All right, let's move to our waiver wire QB. Sean, I'm going to throw it over to you here. This is your guy.
All right, so it's not the best waiver wire week here, I think, for QBs. You could go Sam Darnold. I'm a little scared of how much ghost he's been seeing. Did you see that they played the Ghostbusters theme song
No.
at the Jaguars game?
I did not know. Oh, man. How's that not more on social media? I did not
And
see
then
that.
they had the mascot was dressed up like as a ghost for part of it. Like
Jeez,
they
how
trolled
did-
him nonstop.
How did I miss that?
Oh, it's funny. It's a good look up there. But who I'm going to go with is Derek Carr this week.
Ooh.
So I think that you have a good chance to start him this week because, like I told you earlier, I think it's going to be a shootout in that Detroit game. And Detroit's defense has been awful. Derek Carr's got a lot of weapons lately. I mean, Tyrell Williams has come back now. Yep. Darren Waller is a beast. And so I just think he's going to be able to put together a game for you where you won't be upset. You'll get that 250 and a touchdown, maybe 2. I think he's safe this week. If you need somebody who just isn't going to tank you, not going to get like a 10, I think he'll get you 15 to 20 points this week.
Could you just imagine how that offense would be if the Madden curse did not make Antonio Brown go cray-cray?
That's true. I mean, the offense has moved along fine without him, but thinking about what it could have been if it had.
Whole different level because no one thought Darren Waller was going to be like this. Oh,
Yeah.
man. All right, so we're moving on to our turntables. Doing the shark dance with this doesn't make any sense.
Well, well, well. How the turntables.
right, so with turntables here, we're looking at players who are about to just buck the trend, be better or for worse here. Sean, I'm going to go to you first here. I like this pick. It's a big name.
I think it's a risky pick too.
Yeah.
So Melvin Gordon, it's been really rough. I traded for him as he became active for the Chargers once he decided he was coming back, and I was all excited about it. And it's been bad. Like, he has not been good so far. I think that a lot of it has been rust. Like, he has gotten better each week. From week to week, he's gone up in his performance. His yards per carry have gone up each week. His upcoming schedule is really the real reason I think he's about to kind of break out. I don't think he's going to be that running back one for you, but I think he'll be a startable RB2 for this next couple weeks. He's playing the Packers, the Raiders, and the Chiefs. So those are three really good defenses against the run. They're not that... They're
bad against the run.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Really bad against the run. They also all project to be pretty high-scoring games to where, you know, there's going to probably be a lot of offense being played in those games. And then last week against the Bears, I watched quite a bit of him, and he looked pretty good. He had that touchdown run. I don't know if you saw that, but it was...
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, it was vintage Melvin Gordon that we haven't seen yet this year. So I think that if you've, you know, been frustrated with him and you just want to trade him for pennies, I wouldn't do that. I think that it's about to turn on. The tables will turn for
Tables
Melvin
will
Gordon.
turn. And as of today, or was it yesterday, Wisenhunt, their offense coordinator,
he was fired.
Was fired as a coach myself. You never like rooting for a firing of a coach because there's a lot of things go behind, but that could help change things offensively in his production in particular. So, yeah, I agree with that one there. My turntable guy is Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay.
New surroundings for him with an offense hitting on all cylinders. San Fran is hitting on all cylinders right now. He had 4 out of 5 targets, caught 4 out of his 5 targets last week on a short week of practice. Just imagine what his numbers will be when that guy gets fully game planned into the offense. Because right now there's no receiver being game planned in there.
Yeah.
It's running backs and Kittle. Now they got a talent like Sanders, even though he's a little bit older, his production has not slipped. And I think you're going to start seeing closer to, I would say, 7 to 10 targets a game.
Okay.
There's a lot more down there.
I don't like that as the Kittle owner, but okay.
I know. But 7 to 10 targets now coming in, and he did well. I mean, it was a blowout, so I don't think they really kind of try to push too much. But I think Emmanuel Sanders trending to the better now that he has a new place with a team that's actually winning.
All right.
So.
Well, that's pretty much all I had for you guys this week.
Yeah. All I had. Look at me, man.
Once again, a little reminder here. You need to check out the YouTube here because Chris has laid it all on the line by dressing up as a shark. So
wait a second. I think I got a...
He's got a...
I got a sound.
Oh, he's got a little sounder in his flipper. Let's see if we can hear this in the mic. Nope. Well, that was...
Don't know how to turn it on.
Womp, womp, womp. All right.
Go to our 757 podcast. I'll figure it out by then.
All right. See you guys.
Deuces. Daddy shark.